Oh my God. So I was feeling a bit tired today, so I'm laying here on the couch just like, eating popcorn and eating food because I'm actually feeding my spirit, I'm feeding my body, I'm feeding all the construction materials to build my present as well as the future. And so I was chatting back and forth with some people. I actually had some strawberries and I had some bananas too as well. But I'm chatting back and forth with some of my Jilly Juice people out there, and it just hit me that we have been talking about word wizardry. And well, we have been talking about words and spells and casting spells on people, places, and things, and why I've really just gotten away from the activism. I've gotten away from all of the politics, religion, and science. Patricia Kreiser, she's part Cherokee, and she's saying how the Indians used more hand signals than they did words because words were like magic. They made things happen, they made things appear, type of things. And I get that. But then here's the thing, it's using words and using magic for good. But what is good? Well, it's not to be all lovey-dovey and be all positive and be all like, oh, I love you, you're such a good person. No, it's about being an architect for your future, maximizing your potential in body, mind, and spirit, as well as whatever skill set that's out there. Whatever you look at, you're like, I want to do that. Like you see somebody painting something, or you see somebody building something, or you see somebody walking down the street who looks really professional and very great. Hey, John, according to you, and you want to be that person. Well, you will have the capacity to do that because you will invoke that future. That is a type of, you could say word alchemy, you could, but it's wizardry. It's like a magic, right? Because you are invoking something into existence. And so then I said, well, you know what? Even though the Indians may have used more hand signals than not, we've just invoked immortality into the future. And then we've shared so much research, John and Patricia and Bridget and all of you guys have shared in the research in substantiating how immortality is now possible. Not because we're just like, okay, we're just going to make up immortality. No, we have the word for it, or indefinite life. We have the science behind life and death. We know that there are so many spells out there that are being cast on the population. You have mothers, you have fathers, you have sisters, you have brothers, you have your friends and your family are saying, no, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. Nope, the world is this way. The world is that way. You're only going to be able to make it this far in life. I'm telling you, your teachers, your bosses, your coworkers, your best friends, your fair weather friends will cast spells on you, and they will invoke what they think is who you are. And so then that limitation you then adopt as if it was real. And that's a type of spell. That's where someone's like, you've seen people who are best friends. Oh yeah, she's my best friend. No, he's my best friend. And then they have these limited, ways of looking at the world, and they both reinforce each other's belief systems, and that's kind of casting spells on each other and keeping people within a very type of limited existence. It's like they're under a spell. It's like best friends are under a spell. That's why it's very, very hard to take seriously very compartmentalized people who have been in a bubble their whole life because they haven't seen the outside world. So they're under the spell of their community. They're under the spell of their religion. They're under the spell of their politics, their scientific belief system. They're under the spell of their teacher or whoever mentor. They're under the spell of that celebrity who is doing this, 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 and this. I mean, look at Hollywood. They cast spells all over the world. Look at mainstream media. They're casting spells everywhere. And so even though they're casting spells and using so much word wizardry to program your belief system, now you have the ability to counter, to neutralize the spells that are being cast upon you. But if you don't even know who you are as a person, then you will take somebody else's spells. You will allow someone to cast those spells and use word wizardry on you to program you. That's what programming is. That's why I mentioned this morning that I have to come from a scientific point of view. And then in my book, I'm going to have both the technological, business process reengineering, so like all this nerdy crap. And then I'm going to slip in also esoteric knowledge, the Trinity. I'm going to slip in, yes, certain things that people don't really know about because they've been so compartmentalized and under the spell of their little bubble of cliques. How many people belong to a clique in high school? The jocks, the nerds, the deadbeats, the goths, the whatever, the jocks, whatever, and so they have basically had a spell cast upon them at birth because their parents were under a spell. They were either jocks or they were nerds or this. And so the spells of our genetic bloodlines are being cast onto future generations. And so the only way to break the spell is to do waterfalls and release all of those spells that actually manifest in agonist antibodies and antagonist antibodies that do either search and destroy or they create growth. But there's a specific spell or programming within these antibodies that do encourage a type of behavior. And so you still have to adapt to your environment, but you can still take on that innovation, but it doesn't run you. You will actually be the one to control for the most part. I mean, obviously you can't control all the involuntary mechanisms, but you can control which direction you want your life, which is, immortality. Because if you are living immortally and you're not dying from natural causes, then you basically have shown that you have some kind of control over your life, literally. That's the whole point of Jilly Juice, is having control over your life, literally and figuratively. And then you're not being subject to all the activist wizards that are out there. Luke Rudowski is an activist wizard. All the crypto people out there are activist wizards. What else? Del Bigtree is an activist word wizard. How many other countless big names out there? Alex Jones, a word wizard. Jesse Ventura, a word wizard. How many people out there can you name that has been an influence in you, that has put you under a spell, and have you follow their lead in lockstep as if you were just a faithful follower? How many of you are still part of the word wizards out there that have cast spells over their flock, over their following? How many can't wait to guide you into their activist stance? And then Catherine goes, love the idea of having control over my life. Oh, absolutely. That's exactly what I want, because I didn't realize it came from that kind of household where there was a lot of mysticism in my household. To what extent, I don't know, but I have an idea with the crystal ball in the living room and what else? The minotaur head. Hey, Kristen again. With the minotaur head over the family room that looked like a devil head. The cedars in the corner, like the cloven hoofed creatures in the corner, and some very extreme S&M type of art, on some parts of the wall, and then the picture of another minotaur almost naked in another part of the wall. And I tell you what, there was a lot of art that was definitely depicting a lot of mysticism in my world. Okay? And so it's like, holy crap. And so this is where the power of marketing, which is basically word wizardry. It's like casting spells over your client, which it's okay because you're doing it right. Like with Krista, you're into real estate. You're doing amazing. You're such a great real estate agent. Like, you are amazing because you understand the power of words. You understand that people want a certain thing. You're doing the best you can to give them what they want. And you're definitely working with words, working with image, working with who you are to make people really get that what they're going to get from you is the very best. And you deliver. I mean, that's no doubt about it. You freaking deliver, Krista. And so that's exactly what I want for all of my Jilly Juicers, is they have a very, I don't want to say you're benevolent, because no one's 100% benevolent, but you are self-serving in a way where it's both self-serving and you're also giving somebody else is getting benefit. It's not just you taking, like when you're debating with someone, you're really trying to exploit. you're really trying to convert, and then you're trying to discredit. That is not what I mean. What I want is people to go out there and they do the very best with people out there, giving them exactly not only what they want, but what they deserve and what they're willing to pay for. Obviously, you don't want to give more than what they're willing to pay for, so you balance all of that out where you're not being, exploited either. And so knowing your boundaries as well as, respecting somebody else's boundaries. And that's it. And we're not trying I already said exploit, but we're not trying to take advantage of somebody else because we know this power. And so that's why English majors and journalist majors and, writers and all that, they have a tremendous power because they understand, word alchemy, but really it's word wizardry. Word wizardry. Okay? And so neutrality, yes, is very important, but there are times where being dualistic is also very important, Catherine, because if somebody is trying to harm you, it's either you or them. Okay? And so you want to save your life, so that's where you have to be dualistic. It's my life or yours if it comes down to that. Okay? And so there are times to be appropriate to be dualistic, and there are other times to be appropriate to be neutral. And it's the discernment to know between the two where you're not cannibalizing your opponent. We're competing on a level playing field. And so, yes, there are a lot of people out there that do exploit their knowledge of word wizardry, and they do cast spells. And they do cast spells on their friends and family. How many people have said out there that life is short, play hard? Or I have all my diseases. I have MS, I have this, I have that, and I have whatever. And, treat me this way. And let me tell you, they've cast spells all over themselves. They have told people exactly how they want to be treated. Feel sorry for me because I have a disease. Feel sorry for me because I can't go any higher than this. This is as high as I can go. And so I want you to feel sorry for me. That's exactly what some people do. They cast their own spells on themselves. Or they're putting on these little foundations. Oh yeah, the MS walk, the autism walk, this walk, the cancer walk. There's so many spells out there that make sure they keep people in a very, very rigid, tight, limited space. And it's amazing when you actually see it for what it is. It's freaking amazing. And so you guys, I swear you guys, you guys are so awesome. You guys are so awesome. But I mean, my evolution is that much quicker. I think the feeling of tiredness and the symptoms are absolutely evolution. I get the best ideas when I'm like, ugh, and I have to sit and relax. When I have to sit and relax and just I'm watching this thing called Things Heard and Seen, and it's some kind of ghost movie and stuff. And I'm just like, I was writing this morning or redevising my paper this morning, and I'm like, okay, I'm just tired. I'm eating stuff and eating strawberries and eating this and eating popcorn and drinking water and drinking coffees. And I'm like, oh my God, why can't I just have this amazing energy and then just keep go, go, go? Well, that's not always, the appropriate thing. Sometimes it's taking a rest and allowing your body to now process everything in the universe. And then guess what? Shit comes to your head. But if you don't relax, there's no way you're going to have something come to your head because you're too distracted. So you got to have a balance between activity and rest. And it's not always just going to bed and having 8 hours of sleep. It's also when you're at home and you could be doing all these things, but you actually sit and you just relax. You just relax. You watch a movie. You have things going on. Yes, you have this house to sell and that house to sell. You're writing this, you're writing that. You're in the middle of a project, whether it's building a house or, whatever else. But you still rest even in the middle. You're not like Roger Rabbit or Ricochet Rabbit trying to get something done. That's where the best ideas come from, when you actually are not worried about being attached to getting something done so fast. Now, I sometimes, at night when I want to go to bed, I'll go through making my husband's lunch, getting the coffee done, getting my dog outside at least twice, getting the counter wiped off, getting the coffee pot done. Da, da, da. So I go through that so quick, I don't even think about it. I just bam, 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 bam. But, when it comes to my writing and things that are very important to me, fast is not always the best. And that's one of the things, that's one of my takeaways, is sometimes you have to take your time in your projects. And you have to actually relax. this whole thing with our America, you got to be productive 100% of the time, is BS. That's what keeps you in this spell that people have cast upon you. My mother casts spells on me all the time. She's like, well, you're not working. And I'm like, I'm on unemployment. I was doing this, I was doing that, trying to figure out my direction. And she was just hammering. You got to go work. You got to work. You're being a lazy person. You're doing this. And I get that even here in the Northeast. Everyone, like a lot of people's mentality here is to go, 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 be exploited. I don't care if you're getting paid $5 an hour. You go and work no matter what. Don't take the unemployment. Like, screw you. Maybe people need to rest, and maybe they need to redirect their energy. Because yes, our friends and family will exploit each other if they can. And so you have to understand that. That's why you have to be strong with the J juice. And the J juice is going to help you counter the spells that your friends and your family and your community and your leaders that are going to cast so many spells on you. Like, it's unreal. And it's a constant deflection. Constant. I get it all the time on my business page. All the angry faces, which, John, you actually have earned an angry face. You're getting up there, John. I see a few angry faces on your page. I'm like, woo! John has finally earned his place out there in the world. And he can handle it. He's putting so much out there that he can handle it. And that's the thing, is you're going to touch, if you are actually making a difference out there, you're going to touch so many people's emotions that it's, and if you don't touch every person's emotion, you're not reaching everybody. But that's okay. Not everybody is trying to reach people on a platform such as this because they're doing something different and they're trying to reach people in a different way, which I completely understand. But if you are promoting Jilly Juice and that's predominantly what you're doing, that's awesome. But if it's not, and you're not doing anything kind of professional, and you're just an activist, and all you're getting is likes, whatever, you're just preaching to your choir. Okay. And so anyways, I just wanted to put it out there about word wizardry, and Jilly Juice will give you that ability to release the excess, because that word wizardry, the spells people cast upon you, it could be obesity, it could be cancer, it could be disease, it could be chronic illness, it could be malnutrition, it could be autoimmune disorders. And so disease is a type of spell that was cast upon you that has been kept in the family genetics for generations after generations. So some generations have been cursed, just like you hear about the Kennedy curse. Well, that's a real thing. You have your 17 bloodlines or 17 influential families, and some of these influential families have been cursed by other influential families because they weren't strong enough to counter it. So then you see the Kennedys, just every generation, somebody is either committing something or they've passed away. Okay, so curses do exist, and they also exist in bloodlines, in just your run-of-the-mill bloodlines out there. And so now it's up to you to reverse that curse, to counter that curse, neutralize the curse of your genetics. But it does take earning that reversing or neutralizing the curse. And that means you have to go through some pain, but at least it'll be supported correctly. All right. Have a good day. Bye.